As the body ages, a quiet but persistent fire begins to smolder deep within its tissues, chronic, low-grade inflammation that often escapes notice until it manifests as pain, fatigue, or disease. This process, known as inflammaging, is increasingly recognized as a central force behind a host of age-related conditions, including cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, and musculoskeletal degeneration. But one of its most pervasive and life-disrupting consequences is chronic pain, especially in the absence of obvious injury. Understanding how inflammaging drives this pain, and more importantly, how we might interrupt the cycle, is opening the door to a new kind of medicine, one that doesn't just manage symptoms, but fundamentally changes the aging process. Inflammaging is not triggered by pathogens or injury in the traditional sense. Instead, it arises from the body's own accumulated cellular debris, metabolic stress, microbial imbalance, and senescent cells, all of which signal danger to the immune system. Over time, the immune response shifts from targeted and acute to generalized and perpetual. Blood levels of inflammatory markers like IL-6, TNF-A, and C-reactive protein, CRP, gradually rise, even in the absence of infection. This background inflammation primes tissues to become more sensitive to pain stimuli and less able to recover from mechanical or chemical stress. The nervous system is deeply entwined in this process. Pro-inflammatory cytokines not only irritate peripheral tissues like muscles and joints but also crosstalk with pain-sensing neurons, increasing their excitability. In the spinal cord and brain, this results in a phenomenon known as central sensitization, where the threshold for pain is lowered and the experience of pain becomes exaggerated. What might have been a minor ache or harmless movement in youth becomes a lingering source of discomfort in older adults. This feedback loop, where inflammation heightens pain and pain amplifies stress and further inflammation, can spiral into a chronic state of physical and emotional exhaustion. Fatigue is also intimately tied to this inflammatory load. Inflammaging disrupts mitochondrial function, the energy-generating machinery of cells. This leads to lower energy output, greater oxidative stress, and increased fatigue even in the absence of exertion. Muscles may become weaker not solely from disuse, but because they're operating under an invisible burden of cellular stress. Inflammatory signals also interfere with neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, altering mood and motivation, further compounding pain-related disability. Breaking this cycle requires a multi-layered approach, not just muting inflammation pharmacologically, but rebalancing the biological systems that fuel it. Lifestyle interventions are surprisingly powerful here. Regular, moderate exercise, particularly resistance training and low-impact aerobic activity, has been shown to reduce systemic inflammation by lowering cytokine levels and increasing anti-inflammatory myokines from muscle tissue. Physical activity also improves mitochondrial function and helps rewire pain pathways in the brain, making it one of the most effective non-pharmaceutical tools available. Nutrition plays an equally crucial role. Diets rich in anti-inflammatory compounds like polyphenol, omega-3 fatty acids, and fiber can help suppress inflammatory gene expression, support a healthier gut microbiome, and promote metabolic flexibility. Specific nutrients such as curcumin, EGCG, from green tea, resveratrol, and sulforaphane have shown potential to reduce markers of inflammaging and even modulate the activity of senescent cells. Avoiding excess sugar, refined carbohydrates, and processed oils is also essential, as these promote glycation and oxidative stress that fuel the aging inflammatory cascade. On a more advanced front, therapeutic strategies like senolytics, drugs or natural compounds that selectively eliminate senescent cells, are gaining traction. These treatments have already shown promise in animal models for reducing inflammatory burden and improving tissue function, and early human trials are underway. Other experimental approaches include mitochondrial-targeted antioxidants, microbiome modulation, and even immune reprogramming to restore a more youthful, balanced immune response. The psychological dimension shouldn't be underestimated. Chronic pain and fatigue are not purely physical, they erode mental resilience and alter brain chemistry. Practices like mindfulness meditation, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and stress reduction techniques can help modulate the perception of pain and reduce the sympathetic nervous system activity that exacerbates inflammation. The exciting takeaway from this emerging science is that inflammaging is not an irreversible fate. While aging will always bring change, The degree to which it drives chronic pain and fatigue can be shaped by how we engage with our bodies at the cellular and systemic levels. Targeting inflammaging means targeting one of the root systems of biological decline, offering not only pain relief, but the restoration of vitality, mobility, and independence. Rather than seeing chronic pain as a fixed outcome of growing older, we can begin to view it as a signal, one that points not just to local wear and tear, but to deeper, systemic imbalances that are potentially modifiable. By combining lifestyle medicine with emerging therapies that target senescent cells and immune dysregulation, we may not only break the link between inflammaging and chronic pain, we may begin to rewrite the experience of aging itself.